Cozy season is upon us. There's a chill in the air, the leaves are on the ground, and the couch never looked better. Well, it can be really easy to say, I'm just gonna take the next couple months to rot in a blanket and I'll become a new person in January. You may be robbing yourself of some crucial goal setting and habit forming months. This is where the topic of winter arcs come into play. Winter arcs are all about using those last couple months of the year to refocus your goals before the new year and harness the power of winter, using those shorter, chilly days to be reflective. It challenges the stereotypes of those New Year's resolutions and starts that exercise earlier to get ahead of the winter blues and the high and low roller coasters that come with the holidays. All over my feed are people's winter arcs, whether that be challenging themselves to wake up early, eating healthier, or start working out more. I find it really powerful to use that same mindset to get ahead in your career. Don't wait until the new year when you're tired from the holidays and Q4 madness to set those goals. Goal setting in your career is a way of investing in yourself, and it pays dividends, literally being your paycheck. Well-crafted goals create habits, and science shows that a habit becomes automatic after only a couple months. If you craft those goals now, by January, you're well on your way to those habits becoming second nature. As a quick introduction, I'm Kimmy. I'm 29, living and working in New York City in consulting, and welcome to On Our Way, a channel where we talk about navigating careers and life through the lens of being women. In this video, we'll dive into how to create actionable goals for your winter arc that'll position 2025 to be your best career year yet. Create quantifiable goals. Often when we create goals for ourselves, we use the words like more or less, speak up more in meetings, or work from home less, come into the office more. But that verbiage makes it really hard to hold ourselves accountable. Instead of using words like more or less, make it quantifiable. For instance, schedule weekly meetings with your manager to get your questions answered and start to be proactive in your engagements. Another example could be go into the office Tuesday through Thursday to get that face time with your team. You can tailor this to you and your goals, but craft them in a way where you could check them off a list and you can't really talk yourself around it. For instance, I am going into the office more than during COVID, so does that count as me achieving my goal? Make it a little bit more black and white for yourself. With this verbiage, you can hold yourself accountable. For myself, this has made goals more actionable and therefore more habit forming because it's easier to quantify if you've done it or not. Advocate for your next career move. Don't wait until January to start thinking about what you want out of next year for your career. Start early and start vocalizing it as well. If you want to be promoted, for instance, by end of next year, set a goal for yourself to communicate that timeline to the decision makers on a reoccurring basis. For me, I try repeating this quarterly to the managing director that I support, phrasing it as, just as a reminder, this is the timeline that I'm looking for promotion, and this is the goals that I've accomplished to help myself get there, and maybe these are some of the tasks or goals that I need a little bit of help with. It may not be a promotion that you're looking for. Maybe you want to take on a new type of project or deepen your team's knowledge in a certain area. You not only will separate yourself and show that you're being proactive, but you'll be practicing a habit of advocating for yourself and what you want out of your career. Especially as women, we've been conditioned to just be humble, grateful, and frankly, happy to be here. But this leaves women in roles longer because we're not typically comfortable advocating for ourselves, and it's not a habit that we've been encouraged to practice. Taylor Swift has even said that society tells women that they shouldn't want money or success in the same way that a man should. Let that sink in for a second. I know for me, the first time that I went to the managing director I support and outlined my desired timeline for promotion and the goals that I've been practicing to get there, I was absolutely terrified. I was nervous he would think that I'm not grateful for the opportunities that he's already given me, but with all habits, that topic has gotten way easier to broach over time. Building the habit of advocating for yourself in your career goes hand in hand with asking for feedback. How can you pitch yourself for the next promotion if you don't even know if you're fully meeting your manager's expectations? Set a goal for yourself to ask for feedback on a reoccurring basis and make that a habit. For me, it's quarterly. Feedback is the most powerful tool you have to advance in your career. Instead of guessing how you're doing, how you're being perceived, and what you can do better, feedback takes all the guesswork out of it. Q4, and at least my line of work, can be a race to the finish, a race to get client work wrapped up or deliverables out the door. And when things get busy, that's often when some valuable admin gets pushed out the window. Don't let a busy time stop you from furthering those career propelling habits, because arguably that's when you need them the most. Asking for feedback on a set cadence also helps you build the habit of receiving that feedback and applying it to your work. Keep in mind that positive feedback does not have much weight if it doesn't also come with some constructive feedback as well. In my experience, the constructive feedback has actually been more valuable because I've been able to create those actionable goals that we talked about and course correct. It took me a while, but remember that anyone that takes the time to give you constructive feedback is doing so because they care about your career. It's a lot easier to just give the blanket, "You're doing great, keep it up," than it is to thoughtfully think through what can this person do better to get to the next stage. Receiving constructive feedback is a lot more valuable than receiving the positive feedback, even if it doesn't feel like that in the moment. A year into my career, I received the feedback that come to my manager with a lot of questions. And I was like, well, yeah, you're my manager. Isn't that kind of your job? And she said, but that's not really enough. She said, I need to come to my managers with not only questions, but possible solutions and show that I've critically thought about the problem rather than just coming to them and asking them, what do I do next? And let me tell you, that has stuck with me. Even 6 years later, I still actively apply that feedback. Had I not been in the habit of asking for feedback, I may have missed out on a piece of advice that I think has really helped me in my career. Make time for human connection. During the Q4 madness, try not to let human connection opportunities at work slip just because everyone is busy. Arguably, that's when you really do need it the most. I think it's healthy to be reminded that outside of work, your managers and your direct reports have very full lives. To me, work is a lot more enjoyable when you have those deeper connections with your teammates because you feel less alone. And it is inevitable that you're going to get annoyed with your manager when they're giving you work or they're giving you constructive feedback, even though we know that's important. But if you have a deeper relationship with that person that's not just predicated on the manager to direct report dynamic, I find that's a lot easier to kind of get past those annoyances and see the person behind it quicker. I set the goal of being in person twice a week to get FaceTime with teammates and actively build those relationships. To frame this, I'm in consulting and we don't have a strict, you have to be in the office these amount of days, these specific days of the week. The preference is that we would be at clients, but in today's day and age, a lot of our clients aren't even there, or if they are, they don't have offices big enough to accommodate consultants, and they may not want to pay for our lunch or pay for our planes, trains, whatever to get there. My clients are in biotech and consumer products, so it is a little different for my colleagues that work on big blank clients, for instance, where they have to be in, 4 or 5 days a week. In this hybrid environment, I think one of the worst things you can do for your career is be out of sight and out of mind. Coming in person keeps you top of mind for proposals and new work, and it also shows your dedication to your job. Is your job worth you leaving your cozy little apartment, especially in the darker months of the year? It can be tough when work is busy to ask your colleagues about things outside of work. You guys probably have a lot on the agenda, but try to make it a goal and therefore a habit to ask about their weekend or ask about their holiday plans, maybe on your walk to lunch or something. Me being an introvert, it took me years to get comfy with this, and honestly, I had to look at it as a goal for a while before that habit became second nature. Setting a goal of building those in-person connections ingrains the habit of getting out of our sweatpants and getting your booty to the office a couple days a week, especially in the winter when we need that human connection the most. To become your best career girly self during this winter arc, add a goal or two that scares you a smidgen. Emma Grede, co-founder of insane brands like Good American, Skims, has said that fear has been a helpful part of her career. Quote, "If I'm not a little bit scared about what I'm doing, then I'm not growing. I'm not moving forward." You learn by pushing yourself and facing those challenges head on. By adding goals that push you out of your comfort zone, you end up living a bigger and more fulfilled life. And the more that taking on new challenges and betting on yourself that you will figure it out becomes habitual, the more confident you'll be in every aspect of your life. For me, the biggest bet on myself career-wise was leaving my prior company and coming to my new one. And my prior one I had interned at, worked there a couple years, even lived with a coworker, and it was fine. I just knew it wasn't a forever kind of thing for me personally. Once I tackled that, I moved to a new city, started a new job, and proved to myself that if I don't bet on myself to go out and get a higher title and higher salary, then who else will? Don't forget to prioritize your mental and your physical health. The holidays Holidays are often a stressful time between family gatherings, traveling, and Q4 madness with work. Including mental and physical health in my goals and creating healthy habits has no doubt helped me in my career. Careers are marathons, not sprints, and in any instances where I've worn myself down to get a deliverable out the door, I may have met that deadline, but my work after that has suffered. When I prioritize my overall health, I do better at work because I have the energy to critically think and be proactive as well. How that shakes out for me is setting a goal to nourish my mind as well as my body. I started reading before bed instead of just doom scrolling, which is still a work in progress, but reading kind of focuses my brain a little bit and gives me something to think about that isn't chore or work to do or something. I also set the goal of going to the gym at least 4 days a week. Also work in progress there. But for me, getting out and at least moving also helps kind of quiet and focus my brain. With both of those, my brain goes from feeling like a little hamster on a wheel to a much calmer state. And if my brain feels like a hamster on a wheel all the time outside of work, then by the time I come to work, I'm too mentally tired to, like I said, be proactive and take on some of those goals. Thank you so much for making it to this part of the video. I really hope this video gave you some ideas on how to invest in your career during your winter arc. Create those habit forming goals now, so by the time the new year comes, you're well on your way to making 2025 your best career year yet. Before you leave, please like and subscribe, as well as leave any career winter arc advice in the comments below as we all continue on our way through this life season. Okay, can you scram for like 10 seconds?
Okay, I'm going.
You're not going any quickly, are you? You're not going hiking. Like, you're just going to the bedroom. He's back.